All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of The Gray Matters, where we discuss more than just the hot topics and headlines of the day from a black man's perspective. We appreciate that we are not a monolith, and every subject deserves to be explored with nuance, giving a view from all sides of the culture. So, we're here to hopefully bring that to you every week with a little bit of nuance, class, and some fun. Our panel consists of three guys that are absolutely nothing alike, and you'll soon come to find out, if you haven't already, just how much we love each other in spite of our sometimes very big differences. My name is Kyle today, joining you from Delaware, where I'm joined also by my good friends Eric Cartman out in Nashville, and none other than, you guessed it, Kenny McCormick out in Portland. Say hello, gentlemen. Where your jacket at, bro? What's up? Yeah, how we doing, fellas?
Good, absolutely great. How about you?
Man, listen, I'm living the dream. We see how long we get. See if we can make it through here without Kenny getting killed.
Let's see. We'll give it the best shot, we can.
I know, boy. I
Uh,
gotta be Kenny. Golly,
well,
It could be worse. You could be.
I could have been Kyle.
You could be Tolkien Black.
I could have been Kyle though, like a whole other dude who's in the episodes, like all the episodes, who doesn't die.
Yeah, but where does that leave? Well, where does that leave me? Because I'm Kenny. I mean Kyle. Excuse me. I'm Kyle.
You Kyle.
Yeah, I'm Kyle. I mean, you can be Chef. How about that? You want to be Chef?
There you go. I could have been Chef.
No. I know. You can be Mr. Garrison.
No.
wow.
No, I don't want to be Mr. Garrison.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
there's a certain population of people who don't have any clue what we're talking about. So let's go ahead and get started.
Right. And if you don't, you don't.
Yeah.
We're not even going to explain it.
Right.
You should be.
Yeah, look
like
that up
this
like
is
last
highbrow. This is highbrow.
Yeah, I can't help it that you were underprivileged.
Yeah.
Like you didn't.
Like keep up. Keep up.
There you
We ain't
go.
about to explain our jokes.
Absolutely.
No.
But this week, kicking it off with a cartoon reference. This week's episode is brought to you by one of the least famous villains from a cartoon by the name of Syndrome.
Mm.
You don't know him because we're talking about The Incredibles, where he gave one of the greatest quotes ever.
Yes.
If everybody is super, then nobody is.
Yes.
Our topic for today is
It's usually what I say to athletes. I've said this to every single athlete that I've ever coached.
That's strong, man. That's I didn't even see that one coming. That's strong. That is
Boy,
Are
that talk.
we celebrating too much mediocrity
strong.
in this great United States of America? America, do we
that
celebrate
talk.
too
God
much
bless
mediocrity?
America.
Talk it.
From the sports to the classroom to the superstars that we pick,
Politicians,
politicians,
famous singers, teachers,
man.
students.
Oh, we love a guy right in the fat juicy middle. We love a C plus motherfucker. I swear we love a C plus.
Man,
So
A
let's
nice
kick it
juicy
off.
C plus.
man, you about to make me put my Kevin Samuels on. Like, listen, there's an awful lot of y'all that think y'all gonna get that high value, man. But you mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna start with Paul on this one because
Okay.
Rev just started the last couple weeks.
Man, I've been
So
catching-
Let's go.
Let's start off with Paul. So we'll start in the trophy participation room, if we
Mhm.
will.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'll preface it for people who aren't looking at us. Shout out to all our people who listen on Spotify and the other streaming platforms without the video. We're of a certain age. Now, we're not old, but we are of an age where there were no participation trophies.
None.
Zero.
In fact-
Didn't even know what that was.
Sprinkles are for winners.
Man. In fact, we're from a generation where if you sucked, they told you sucked.
Yes.
And you accepted it and went home and did something about it, or
Either
just
did something about it or
picked up
How
your
about
book.
this? How about this? I'll go further. we're from the age where you could ride the bench in rec ball.
Mm. Yeah. They wasn't
Yeah,
trying to get
yeah, yeah,
everybody in the
yeah.
game. Your mom paid those $35 in fees, and you just wrote it out. You got
So
that's it.
Yeah.
So Paul, do
Mhm.
we have we shifted the pendulum too far where we have to give everybody a participation trophy, or what effects do you see that causing in this great land of ours?
okay, I'm gonna come at it from a few different angles.
Okay.
Um, being a former youth coach, so I've seen it in different angles, and I've coached teams that were terrible, like terrible, like awful, like one or two games, right? And the parents are like, "When do we get our trophies?" And I'm like, "For what?" But again, this is part of culture, right? And then I've coached on teams that have won championships. They were always in the championship. They didn't care about the trophy. It's unless we won the championship.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So being in both environments was helpful for my oldest son because he had to learn how to win, right? So when you coach into let's keep it 100. You coach in the hood. As soon as something goes wrong, the kids are gonna quit. They're gonna fold. They're gonna start cussing each other out. Whatever. You get to the burbs, you start, coaching, and something goes wrong, and the kids kind of band together. It's okay. We gonna be all right. It's a different mentality. It's weird. And if you've been a coach, you know exactly
You know
what I'm
exactly
talking
what it.
about.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You can win with less talent in the suburbs, and you'll lose with an abundance of talent in the hood every year because of the mentality. And what I've learned is the kids in the hood, for whatever reason, seem to be more coddled than the kids in the suburbs. And that's
Mm.
just my impression from coaching. They're
Mhm.
more coddled. Now, when puberty hits and all that stuff hits, and you can't, and things become undeniable, right? Like talent and genetics and all that
Yeah.
stuff takes
You
over.
6'8". That's just
Yeah, ain't nothing you can do about that,
right.
right? But when they're young and they're just clay, um, it seems like the middle class white parents are more likely to let you yell at and mold your kids than the poor black parents.
Mm.
Just my opinion from my
Man,
experience.
man, you got racial quick.
I
He just
mean, I
speaks
mean,
he
I'm
We
speaks
just
ain't even.
going
I
off of
mean,
my
we like
experience.
5 minutes in, and you done
I'm
came for
going off my
all the black
experience.
people.
I'm going off my experience, and it's not just black people. Upwardly mobile black people act like upwardly mobile white people. If you've been around, you understand what I'm saying. But poor black people don't like you to really challenge their children at
Mm.
all.
And so this
It's
leads to
wild.
this leads to a good point though, which is, as we mentioned, growing up, if you sucked, or at least in our childhood, if you sucked, then you sat on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
I was a person, and we through our other conversations, y'all have discovered, like growing up, like before I reached puberty, I was uncoordinated, and I was not very good, at a lot, but I just wasn't. And my mom, I was on the bench, and my mom let me be on the bench. Like it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't my mama came and I had to have a conversation with the coach about why
Mm-hmm.
my son ain't playing, or
Everybody knew.
why.
Yeah.
Well, half the time, shit, my father was my coach, so he benched me. But at the same time, like,
boy, sorry.
they let me be on the bench. But like now we got parents who like to my son just ain't getting the opportunity. We like to play the blame game. Of why your son ain't getting the opportunity, he ain't getting the college scholarship because the coach didn't play my son back in third grade when he knew he was clearly the best player on the team. So Billy, both of y'all are perfect for this because both of y'all coach. So Billy,
that better be your reason. Like, wait a minute now.
Well, let's keep it 100. We both perfect for this because we're both undersized, underspeeded athletes who went to college.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, let's keep it 100.
Yeah. Right.
But like, we still got to college.
Oh yeah.
To play sports.
Right.
So we're still elite. Even if we bums amongst the elite, we still elite.
We was in the we got it. Yeah, you got in the room. That's what I was getting ready to say.
We still in the goddamn room.
So how? But yeah, when you look at the parents that are doing the coddling, as not just coaches are coddling, but parents are definitely coddling, making excuses. Like, do you think that that's fostering in a victimhood mentality, or just breed mediocrity, or that you don't have to work for what you need, or like how do you see that playing out?
I'll take almost the inverse of what you said about kind of coddling and people feel like they deserve it. I'll use a different word. I love my words and things like that. Entitlement. I believe that entitlement is one of the leading. I'm not going to say it's the only thing or even more than that, but it is a significant factor in why mediocrity persists, even beyond sports and academics and all of that. What I find is that
hold on, Billy. Let me ask you this: do you believe there's more entitlement today than there was when we were coming up?
It is not. It is exponentially higher today.
Really? In what way?
I believe that because it's what's that saying we use? What's understood don't need to be said. We understood, you and I. Now Andre,
Andre's a different.
Yeah, he figured out.
You and I were regulars.
Yes,
regular Homo sapiens,
right?
who buckled our chest strap.
Okay.
Andre and his brother were aliens who happened to play on the same field.
Like
as
Peter
for
Griffin
people who don't know, like I didn't get to finish that. I figured it out. Like
that's what I was going to say.
By the time I was 11 and 12, I figured it out.
Exactly.
We was so go ahead.
I tell people all the time. I was sitting at the desk next to Andre when it was like, oh snap! Like all the stuff came together all at once. But anyway, I say that to say this. I find that adversity is something that parents, and especially those who came up challenges, frustrations, didn't have opportunities, they want to give their kids a certain life, but they don't realize that the missing ingredient is in fact adversity. So they don't realize that if you don't give, and I don't mean adversity like you got to walk uphill in the snow on the way to school both ways. I mean adversity meaning you sat the bench, meaning you didn't have to get a right. I walked home from football practice and track practice and games and baseball. I walked.
Well, let's talk about me stealing downs at St. X on Friday nights.
There you go.
We laugh about it in group chat. Yeah, I was stealing. I stole downs. Literally.
But
they had no plan of ever putting me in the game.
He accidentally got a couple of runbacks, and then there goes the story. Right?
Yeah.
But the point is that there is a certain character that you take through the rest of life. I think at one point, Andre and I, we were talking about how his path getting to Louisville, like it involved some detours. It wasn't a straight line. My path, even in ministry, my path was not a straight line. I didn't just
never
see the spirit. Exactly. And it's what I find is Arnold Schwarzenegger talked about this, where he talked about how when he lost or not lost, when he came in second place in his first world championship to Frank Zane, he was like totally stunned because he was the bigger, he was the up and coming, he just knew he had it, and he got knocked down. That is adversity. And so I say that only to say that it's a certain mindset that it's almost like the mediocrity comes from people who it's almost like the lines get blurred. There are in fact ways to determine, like we ran countless different times. In high school, Andre was just faster. Like however you want to slice that, okay?
No,
It
no,
wasn't, but
no.
but you
Let's
you
be
follow what I'm
honest.
saying?
Let's be 100% honest.
Right.
He was a superior human to you when it
Yes,
came to getting in the blocks.
exactly. And here's the
So
thing.
and
And
so what?
but here's where I'm going with it. That's exactly the point. Because what happens is people want a participation trophy instead of just accepting the fact that there's no shame in me coming in
Got your ass
third.
whooped.
Yeah, I came in third at the GCLs. There's no shame in that. Like, why do I have to? Why does it always have to be winning? Because, and that's where I was going with it when it comes to mediocrity. People have they bought into this idea that what is it? What's the Ricky Bobby saying? If you didn't
If
come
you
in
ain't
first,
first,
If
you
you ain't first,
last.
you
if you
last.
ain't first, you last. And people literally extrapolate that out to everything in life, and it's like there is no shame in
Zero
coming in.
sum.
Yeah, zero sum. There's no shame in coming in. If you graduated with 400 other people in your high school class and you were seventh out of 400 people, but you're literally don't want to go to graduation, you crying, you're miserable because you're not the valedictorian or the salutatorian. Like, that is a mentality that gets people to feel like instead of wanting to achieve, I don't want that pressure, I don't want that smoke. So let's just everybody have a participation trophy. And it's like, no, no, you can be, it's a mindset that frankly, this generation, and when I say
No,
generation, I'm really talking about
it's
kids.
our generation.
Our system, exactly. We have fostered that in.
This
We are
shit.
responsible
I'm
for it.
sorry. This stuff didn't happen until we became the age of parents. This
Yes.
petition.
Yes.
Once we became
It's our
old enough,
yeah.
it's literally our generation. And I'm
Absolutely.
not, and I'm speaking, and when I'm speaking of the people who had children young. Not necessarily like I
Like
waited till
me,
I was
yeah,
30 to
right.
have
Yeah,
kids. Like,
right.
so my
Right,
kid, I'm always the old dad at my sporting events.
We all are. Yes.
We're their old parents.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody looks at us like, and they think, they think we're younger, but no, we're like literally at
We just
least
drink
15
water
years older than
from
everybody
time to
else.
time.
You know what I'm saying?
I just wear
We're
it
the
well.
old,
Right.
I said I just wear it well. That's
Right.
all.
yeah, exactly. And everybody's so
Yeah.
surprised, like, oh my God. No, yeah,
Mhm.
we're almost 50. But but yeah, so there's that part of the game. And I don't know what about our generation went so bad where they decided, where the people that were our colleagues decided that we're not going to reward first, second, and third place anymore, and that everybody has a place. I don't know what happened. Maybe we were too competitive. I don't know, but
we didn't want our children and people around us who we cared about, even if it's not our children. We didn't want anybody to experience the pain that we felt because we didn't value the fact that that pain actually drove us to be better in many
there's a
ways.
difference in not wanting someone to experience your pain and grinding.
But we
You
don't
understand what
value
I'm
the
saying?
grind. We don't value the grind, is what I'm saying.
Well, here we go.
We
So
don't value the grind.
I am
But there's
glad that you.
a line. Okay, talk,
Yeah.
Andre.
Well, no,
Where
I'm
is
glad
that?
you.
Where is that line? Yeah.
This is the segue that I was going, because I was trying to figure out how I was going to work reality television into this, but Billy just
Okay.
gave me the out. So because again, our generation, we experienced the first episode of reality television.
Oh, yeah.
O.J. Simpson trial.
Yeah, but we was grown.
No, the OJ.
Nah.
Well, I'm just saying the OJ Simpson trial was really the thing that let people know. Oh, people will watch this shit.
We were still
Like,
old though. I
Well,
wouldn't say old. We were still like
I mean,
that was
18,
one.
19.
That was literally
Yeah, that was
1 week
18,
after we
19.
graduated.
I'm
That
saying
the
we was
week
grown.
after.
We wasn't impressionable babies. Is what
I
I'm
get
saying.
that. No, I'm saying, but follow me on this though. But like that was the birth of the OJ Simpson trial for people who aren't old.
Real
enough or
world.
real like that was the first reality television show.
Yep.
Since then, people ironically that were involved in that, the Kardashians, have become.
I've never watched one episode.
I haven't
Flavor
either,
Flav.
but they've become
Flavor of Love.
ultimately stupid successful as in money. And Paris Hilton, same thing.
Well, Paris Hilton is a Hilton.
I know, but what I'm saying is,
He's saying
but
her
there's
fame
no discernible
for
talent.
nothing. Yeah,
Like it used to be when we were watching, like before Kris Jenner became Caitlyn, like the decathlete. Like, yo, you were the greatest athlete in the world. Bo Jackson, Barry Sanders, like we all looked and saw a grind. There was a reason that you were famous. Like Michael Jordan had a reason he was famous. At this point, I cannot put a finger on why Kim K is famous. Can you?
I can.
Okay. Go. What's the reason?
She smashed Ray J on tape.
Okay. But anybody could have did that. That's my point. Everybody can't talk
but they did.
Michael Jordan.
They did.
Well, some people did. Hers just they had a better marketing strategy.
I'm just telling you. I mean, that's what happened.
She was willing. She was willing to lean into, and exceptionalism mattered to her in a way that it didn't to those.
Yeah, they put a whole tape together. Her mama was involved. It was a production.
But is there a discernible talent?
That's why she's famous, brother.
But is there a talent level there? Is my point. Like there's an entire
from what I saw on the tape, the little I saw on the tape. No, I didn't see any talent.
Like
here's
I don't understand why everybody thinks she's so. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. I've literally seen her as close as I've been to this microphone. I've been that close to her, and I don't see it.
I get it.
Well, if you're looking at her face that close, then you wouldn't see it because you just by angles you couldn't see it. There's a reason though.
But what you mean? I'm saying,
no, talk to me, Reverend. What didn't I see because I was so close?
As Reverend Brown said, turn around, ladies.
That ain't her.
That's not the point.
That is the point. That's the
it is the point. Whether she bought it, paid for it, did a 10,000 squats.
I'm an OEM type of cat. That's why I like 70s movies.
I don't know if y'all think y'all arguing my point.
Is that absolutely
this generation, like there's literally a generation currently right now that are store-bought, but she's the example. And this is what we're celebrating. Like,
right. These cats out here with, having kids that's a box of chocolates. They don't even know what they're going to look like.
And so, again, I'm calling it like, I'm not, and this isn't to like shame her or anybody else, like in this
manner. No shame. No.
But there used to have to be some form of talent to make like sense that you were famous. There used to have to be, like we talked about in one of the previous episodes, you had to be able to spit bars in order to be considered to be a rapper.
Yeah.
Or something. You break dancing, something. There had to be some.
The word is you have to be.
She allowed Brandy's brother to put his penis in her on tape.
Well,
but the word
but that only answers her.
I'm explaining to you.
But here's the thing:
the risk. Like you talking about talent, I'm saying there's a risk, right? Like the chance you take, right? Like if you this might happen, right? That's all I'm saying, and that's what it is. It's the same thing with Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton, even though she didn't have to,
right?
She blew some cat on tape.
That was even worse tape for, but that's neither here nor there. I may have.
The thing is, the word is
just saying, dude. Like I don't. I mean, we talking about what happened. I'm not.
But here's the thing.
I'm not even
All I'm
giving a
saying
judgment. I'm just speaking like
but to
matter of
Paul's
factly
point,
on this.
To Paul's point, though, there used to be a time, and this is what we're all essentially dancing around and saying. There used to be a time where you had to be exceptional.
Yes.
The reason why I gave up pursuing.
What did
track.
Farrah Fawcett do?
Well, here's the thing. Farrah Fawcett, it may not be
Or Raquel Welch.
Here's the thing, though. That's
I'm asking what they did.
They were actually very accomplished actors. It's kind of like when we were talking about singing. No,
Very
here's the thing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That's what we run with.
See, this is what I'm saying. The standard back then makes Farrah Fawcett or Raquel Welch look like they are raggedy and can't act. The fact of the matter is they couldn't act. What I'm saying is in comparison to what we expected, they were not the greatest. But
was Farrah Fawcett not listed as a 10? Like, she was gorgeous. Like, I mean, according to
that's what I'm saying. But she was on. They put her in things.
This is
Raquel Welch, Cher. For those who don't know, if you go to Cher pre-1980, Cher was
before all the work that she got on,
different.
Cher was
pre-1980. Yeah. She was different.
Yeah.
Raquel Welch,
Tina Turner,
yeah, Pam Grier, Stephanie Powers. Now, there's a bunch of young ladies that were dope.
But this is an interesting term, Paul.
Just existing.
But it's
there was no surgery. There was no. You know what I'm saying? It was just makeup and hair.
But this is where I was going with the Farrah Fawcett thing, and you mentioned it like with Pam Grier. Here's the problem. I personally, this is just my position. The patriarchy, we talked about this several weeks back.
Okay.
The patriarchy has us thinking that Pam Grier and Farrah Fawcett weren't actually accomplished actresses because Pam Grier had her boobs out in a couple of movies. Because she was hot as fire. Hey, man, listen.
Thank you, Shout out to Screen Picks Voices.
You know what? If you want to sponsor, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Screen
Coffee
Picks
was my indoctrination into a lot of things.
Okay. Which goes back to last week when I was talking about Shaka Khan, but that's another conversation.
Jamie Lee Curtis is another one.
And that's kind of the thing. What happens is the patriarchy has us thinking, well, she had to take her clothes off to get in. And that may or may not even be true. But the point is, it doesn't mean, here's what I'm saying. Two things can be true at the same time. Going back to something you said, though, Andre, I think you gave a perfect example. One of the things, and this goes back to my biggest thing about doing the work and being willing to grind it out and fight through it. You mentioned Barry Sanders. Most people don't realize that Barry Sanders chose to go to Oklahoma State and do what? He sat behind Thurman Thomas, where he could have gone other places and played immediately. His daddy didn't even want him to go there. He chose to go there because he chose to just take punt returns and kick returns. He chose
to go there because he was stupid and he didn't know no better. We all dads and we have children who are athletes. Stop that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do
you
that.
Actually believe that he chose because he didn't know no better?
You actually believe that Barry Sanders chose Oklahoma State because he wanted a bigger challenge?
No, I'm not saying it. No. What I'm saying, I'm not talking about his reason for choosing it. I'm saying Barry Sanders became a whole Barry Sanders.
He chose Oklahoma State. You know why he chose Oklahoma
You're talking
State.
about but you're missing.
He chose Oklahoma State because he was scared to leave home.
However he got there, the point is he went through the grind.
Right. Billy's talking
That's
about
what I'm saying. I'm not talking about the choice.
The end result.
Okay.
I'm saying that at the end of the day,
let's not give his daddy no credit. And let's talk about what it is. We all got kids.
Okay.
Who
the point is,
or who have had dreams.
I'm saying,
and we know what happened with Barry Sanders. It wasn't because it wasn't about he wanted a challenge.
Barry Sanders sat.
He was scared.
Is what I'm saying.
His point was iron sharpened iron.
Yes.
Like Barry
However
Sanders
he got
became who he
there.
was because iron sharpened iron. It's the same reason
Yes.
we went to GCL as opposed to staying at Winton Woods.
Okay,
in
Yes.
there
fair enough.
That's
because
what I'm
we
saying.
wanted to up the competition. Because of it, we've for people who
No.
let me calm down.
If we going
We
about a
could-
Barry Sanders thing, we all
Yeah.
at Forest Park and we win like 4 straight state championships.
Absolutely.
right, but the
You
competition
understand
would
what?
have been
Because we scared to compete
super
with them
easy.
big country white boys. That's what happens if we have the Barry Sanders mentality and we just
But-
stay at Oklahoma State. We just
but here's
stay at
what I'm
FP
saying.
and Green Hills, and then the only competition is Princeton.
Only thing I'm saying is, regardless of how the origin story went, you get Barry Sanders because of the grind. That's all I'm saying.
I don't believe you get Barry Sanders because of the
to your
grind.
point, Paul, had we all chosen to go to Winton Woods, Forest Park, Green Hills, Forest Park, whatever the hell it was during that iteration,
Right.
we would have sharpened each other.
Yes.
We would have
Right.
been, one of us would have been Thurman Thomas and the other person would have been Barry Sanders.
Absolutely.
Facts.
So,
Right.
so even how he got there isn't as important as the fact that what
Yes,
it made
that's all
him
I'm
is
saying.
what is the result.
What I'm saying is the reason you went to Moeller and you went to Bacon,
Same
or
X.
you went to X
Yeah.
with me.
Yeah.
Let's keep it 100. The reason you went to Moeller and you went to X with me is because you wanted to play on the bigger stage.
Yeah. I went on a recruiting visit.
He went to Oklahoma State because that's the biggest school that was closest to him. That's a different mentality,
Okay,
brother.
but I'm not disagreeing with you. What I'm
We
saying
went and
is,
saw the actual stage. He
let's
didn't
not
do that.
But let's not lose sight of what my point is that
That's my point, though.
No, okay, that's fine, but that's not the point I was making. I'm only saying he sat behind Thurman Thomas. He sat behind a
He didn't
better
have to.
back. I didn't say he had to. I'm not even saying he
What I'm
wanted
saying
to.
is if he hadn't been scared to leave home, he wouldn't have never sat behind Thurman Thomas.
But you're giving me an if. I'm not talking about the ifs.
Let's change off there.
It ain't no if because
Sean Taylor would not have been Sean Taylor had he not sat behind Ed Reed. And it wasn't nothing about being scared at this point.
Sean Taylor was going to be Sean Taylor wherever he went. Don't do that.
I'm not saying, again, we're saying elite. We're talking about
behind him is the point.
Yes.
He didn't just immediately go and get his shine. And that's what I'm saying.
He didn't choose to go sit behind a Hall of Famer. He went there because he thought he could beat Ed out.
I'm saying that society.
That's my point. You see what I'm saying?
He went there, but he didn't. And so he didn't.
And he didn't beat Ed out. And then he only had to sit behind Ed for a year.
But he still had to grind. He still got to the league, had some things he had to clean up, and still had to grind. Like, we're still talking about the grind itself was still there. His natural talent was going to take him wherever he was going to be. Michael Jordan was going to be Michael Jordan, whether he played at North Carolina, he played at Georgetown, he played whatever school. But I'm saying, like, the end result is that they still had to grind. And that is what's missing at this point. How we get into this mediocrity conversation is that
nobody wants to grind.
Nobody.
Literally. Nobody.
Well,
and I'm saying, and what I'm saying is, and my point in saying that, I didn't want to grind back in the 70s and 80s when we was kids, and 90s when we was growing up and going.
I wasn't a kid in the
school.
70s and 80s.
Well,
I was a kid in the 80s, but Billy.
I was a kid in the 80s. I wasn't.
Okay.
70s, I was,
Fine.
I was
the
a toddler.
80s. I was born
birth certificate.
The 80s.
Yeah, I was a toddler.
So what I'm saying in 80s, none of us want to grind. Nobody.
Gail Sayers.
It is literally. It goes against. Here's what I'm saying. It goes against the human condition to want to be uncomfortable. I'm not disputing that. What I'm saying is the fact that we had. You were talking about our generation and the kids that are coming up. Mm-hmm. Because we know how to hack the system. We don't allow our kids to grind. My father dropped me off at St. X and said, "Make it work."
I did the same thing with my kid.
But that's you, right? We're
the exception.
That's what I'm saying, and that's really the point.
He be riding the pine.
We are the exception to this rule. As you're dealing with parents as coaches, you understand how you did with your children is completely different than how Ken and Sarah are doing with their kids. Like it is same reason. What's the lady from Family Matters or not Family Matters? Full House. bought her daughter's way into
Yeah.
USC,
Right.
and things like the actual grind of being able to tell your child you weren't good enough, that has disappeared at some point. I don't know why.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pick something up and put it down around here
Hey,
repeatedly in order for me to respect it. Like that's just how it goes. If you can't pick nothing up and put it down, how can you expect me to respect your grind?
And I even, like you mentioned, the lady from Full House. Her name escapes me at this point, but even like when it comes to academics,
Becky,
yeah, whatever it was, yeah. But that's kind of the thing. Even when it comes to academics, I know we talk about sports a lot because that's our background. But even when you talk about academics, when you talk about business, people literally want to, like, the entitlement, the handout, the idea that I deserve something. Like, what? Show me your paperwork. Show me your receipts that says that I have to just be. You know how easy it is to go out here and call yourself a life coach, for example, or a business coach, or a trainer. Like, I think about Carlos and what Carlos is doing. Carlos actually has done the work.
Carlos
He actually
Collins for people.
Carlos, Andre's brother. Like, Carlos is
another
the
legend.
deal, and yet there are
Buddy LaRosa, Hall of Fame legend.
I ain't saying I'm resentful, but
amazing running back ass mug.
Yeah, there you go. But the point is, here's what I'm saying: for every Carlos that's out there that's actually really doing the work and coaching these kids and actually showing how to get through college and all the work, I know you guys got an upcoming project, and we're gonna shout out about that. What I'm saying is, there's 100 other imposters out there that really, they're just self-proclaimed. They're not really actually about it. And that's what I mean by the grind actually puts you in a spot where your mentality is different. This is a mentality I think we're talking about.
Well, I'm gonna jump in here and I to say this. Where is the line?
Between,
like, where's the line? Because what we want is for everybody to win, but nobody wants to compete.
I don't want everybody to win.
Okay.
I mean, I would like to see everybody be successful, but
we don't compete anymore.
I don't.
But I don't want to see people be successful without the competition. Now, I mean, now
that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
I'll get my shot on if you win the lottery or some shit like that. Like, those are outliers. I'm talking about the actual, I don't want to see anybody handed something as I'm already on, what do they say? You starting off on third or whatever. Like that bothers me. Like the music industry bothers me because
y'all do understand our kids are really starting off with a really big lead on second, though.
That's fine. Here's what I'm saying, though.
I'm just saying.
To your point, even using the first and second and third base thing, here's my thing.
Big lead.
Yeah, but here's the thing. The issue is this. My issue is, and I mean what I said, I don't want everybody to be winners. I don't want everybody to be exceptional. Because here's the thing. It blurs the lines, it muddies the water, and it deals with exactly what we're talking about. And here's what happens. When you have people who are not exceptional in spots where you need an exceptional person, people get hurt. People get killed.
Well, here we are with this mediocrity conversation.
Yeah, because when you don't have, think about how many times you saw it, that little, daddy ball thing, and then in a crucial spot.
Daddy ball is real.
Yeah, but in a crucial spot, when you actually need that player to show up, they can't do it. Well, that's because they've never been put through the crucible and put through the grind and forced to do it. Andre talked about it. His daddy benched him. I benched my son. I'm not giving him no preferential treatment. I'm gonna give him all the help he can and support, and he's gonna get a big lead on second base. But I'm not putting him on third.
I coached my kid harder than I coached any other kid.
Absolutely,
and it's because I was a coach. And my philosophy was, if I can't get this dude to listen, none of these other kids are gonna listen. So I had to make an example out of my kid in order to control the rest of the kids. And I would tell him on the way to practice, like, yo, today gonna be rough on you. I'm gonna go at you for some bull. this is what's gonna happen. Just fall in line. I'll
It's the
buy you some
Patriot
ice
way,
cream.
son.
You know what I'm saying? I'll buy you some ice cream on the way home. Just chill out. Like I'm about to yell at you for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like stuff like that. Like you got to do things like that. You know what I'm saying?
My dad didn't give me the heads up. Chuck just yelled. I didn't get my I'm still waiting on my ice cream. But even then, like, so I get we're doing sports and kind of revolving around entertainment. I mean, obviously, because that's our wheelhouse. But like, for instance, in Mississippi, I think it was a couple years ago, there was a black and a white girl. The black girl was supposed to be the valedictorian. The white girl's parents protested and filed a form so that her daughter could be the valedictorian because of
they had two different proms, right?
Right. And all these different things. It's us trying to appease, even for just small things, like nobody takes anything anymore. Like it's all, well, if you don't give it to me, I don't know what to do. Like, and so I know you saying, and it's true, mainly because of financial reasons, our kids are starting off at a better position, as well as starting off in a better position because of stability. Like we are able to provide regular stability, which is what a lot of people from our generation didn't have. Cool. Right. They starting off on second. That don't mean I ain't gonna push your ass to work your ass off to get to home though. And I think that's where we are. Like, but a lot of parents from our generation aren't doing that. They either go into the coach bitching and complaining to the coach, changes
That's
his
wild,
mind,
ain't it?
or
like imagine, I can't imagine calling the coach because your kid ain't playing. That's wild.
Yeah. Or they move him to a different team until they find what is that boy, Tate Martell, where he just continues to change teams until he find a situation.
Oh, that's Paul's fate. No, don't do that.
Don't you talk about my tater salad.
Here we go.
Tater salad did his thing. Tater salad, I don't think he lost a game in high school.
But how many times did he transfer once he got to
college? No, he went to Bishop Gorman and was a starter as a freshman all the way through. Like they was the number one.
He's talking about college though.
Yeah, I'm talking.
Oh, you talking about college? I thought you was talking about
no. I'm talking Ohio State
college,
to Miami to UNLV, BYU.
You can't go from Little League and parents and then talk about what he did in college. I ain't got nothing to do with what Tater Salad did post Bishop Gorman.
I'll take another turn on this because we see it more than just like you said, entertainment and sports. I think of and this goes back to another conversation
transfer
we had
portal
last week. Well, I'll take it back to another conversation we had like last week. I think it dilutes the talent pool when you have people who aren't. We can't call a spade a spade. There are some people out there, even in what my vocation is in doing ministry and preaching and pastoring churches. There are some people out there that because they can sing a little bit, or because they read a couple chapters in the Bible, they immediately want to throw them up there and make them preachers and somehow anointed. And the fact of the matter is there's no anointing to be found, but we've literally lowered the bar so far. And when you have people that truly aren't called to do those things, they really aren't exceptional in the sense that they really have a passion and a calling for it. You get the mediocrity, you get the scandals, you get the, oh my gosh, how could somebody ever do such a thing? How could they say such a thing? You mentioned, no, go ahead, Paul. Go ahead. I saw you.
Well, I'll chime in just for a second and I agree totally with what you're saying. But like, even when you look at it and you're asking where the line is, I absolutely have no idea where the line is, because when you look at Silicon Valley, for instance, there are people that, our generation, like our kids' generation, look up to without realizing 75% of them got lucky.
You saying 75%?
Well, I was gonna say
99% got lucky.
Got lucky, or they had rich parents.
Or and then you also had just we'll say that too, or you had a 5% who grinded, like who actually put in the work, who had an original idea, who the Mark Zuckerbergs, even though he's taking the spin for what he was, he had an original idea and worked his ass off. Michael Dell had an original idea and worked his ass off. Like,
or even think about your guy. What's the movie that Will Smith did? The Pursuit of Happiness. The guy that was on the guy, Stock.
Oh yeah, watching that movie.
Yeah. Now here's the thing about it.
I cried like a baby watching.
Yeah, absolutely.
That movie,
for every one of him.
Lord.
But here's the thing,
that's
Paul.
My flick.
because you can identify with that grind. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. For every one of him, like Paul, like Andre was saying, there's 99 other ones that they was born on third base, or they had all kinds of twists and wrinkles in their
Hmm.
story where they didn't have to grind. And all I'm saying is,
Yeah,
I
I went to the plate with an 0-2 count.
I want people, yes, and I want and here's the thing, I only
I
want
had to get
people
on base, cuz.
what they say, if I'm in the foxhole, if my back is to the wall, I only want people who've had to be bent. You mentioned Michael Jordan. People say, oh, well, whatever, that was just JV or whatever when he was a sophomore. Here's the point. There is something psychologically to being benched. There's something psychological to being cut. There's something psychological to thinking. We talked about your boy, another one of Paul's boy. This is all Paul. My boy John Morant. Like the fact that it's like
Demetrius.
Demetrius,
We not
right?
gonna we are not gonna call him Ja
Okay,
until he get
until
his
he get
thing
his act.
together.
Okay, so here's the thing about
He's Demetrius
Demetrius.
Jr.
Okay, the thing about Demetrius Jr. is clearly Demetrius Jr. had the talent, but he had to go to Murray State. Like there is value in that.
There's a reason he had that much talent
And
and
ended
got
up in
out of
Murray
the
State.
state and got out of North Carolina and South Carolina.
That's my.
But
And
even then, like even when you speak to people with like, let's leave the athletes out of it. Like people who get denied promotions, people who get denied jobs, like Tyler Perry sleeping in his car and now damn buying BET. Like there's
and that ain't no fraud, right? He really did. Yeah.
There's all of these stories like that make people a different breed. Like even if it's just to be quote unquote average person, like in America where you're making 60,000 and you go to a factory job every day, and there is literally nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying,
not at
like,
all.
there is a grind mentality that you have to have in order to be able to clock in and clock out every day for 35 years, 40 years, and keep doing it to make sure that everybody's good. Right now, we ain't even got, like, we got people who quitting on third day of the job. Yeah, this ain't for me. Well, damn, what job is for you then? Like,
You know what? I ain't even gonna hate them people. I'm one of them people. I ain't gonna front, man. I'm not about to sit on no goddamn on Amazon line. Are you crazy?
But you figured out something else to do.
And I'm not
like,
saying it's beneath me. I'm saying it because
you have.
I know I sound like Ebony K. Williams right now.
You have other options though.
You figure, but if you realize that's not the lifestyle that you want, you still maximize whatever lifestyle that you have. I'm talking about the people who like, I ain't going to work. My parents gonna take care of me. I ain't going to work.
Okay.
There's a point, like I know people get tired of saying we got a soft generation coming up, but I'm gonna call it, okay, they're not soft, they lost. Whatever you want to call it, where there has to be something that we pass on to them to make them see that grinding is the way to get it done.
We're skipping a generation in order so we can stay in the workforce. Y'all sleeping. Either y'all sleeping or y'all just don't want to admit it. What happened is this generation is literally like immediately behind us. We completely undertrained them.
I'll say
so we can keep our jobs.
There's a book that I just finished that was recommended to me. It's called Quit. And in the book, it chronicles and talks about different examples of people who basically how we as a society, part of the reason why we fail is we stay stuck in certain situations because we are unwilling to quit. We are unwilling to admit it's not for me or this isn't working out. It gave a great example about how Ali held on too long. He didn't know when to quit. Talked about how Richard Pryor got to the point where by the time we saw, the Sunset Strip, he had already gone to the Comedy Store for a month and put a whole bunch of jokes out there that didn't work, is all I'm saying. There were tons of Dave Chappelle does the same thing, where it's like you put jokes out that didn't work, but you have to be willing and unafraid of admitting the fact that this thing did not work. And that's what I mean by the
that's
fragility.
what comedians do. They do go to little hole in the wall spots and throw things at the wall.
All I'm saying is own it. Own the fact that something is not, you're not great at everything. It's okay to not be great at everything.
Where are we going?
I'm saying that mediocre is when you're not willing to admit that the fact is I'm just not as good as I thought I was at something. And that's okay. Find something else. Like you said, I'm never going to be great on the assembly line or at Amazon on the floor because I'm not doing it. The way my ankles are set up, no. That's just how it works. And that's okay. Or just like some people are police officers, it ain't for me. Mediocre police work is the reason why it's not even as much racial as much as you scared. And being afraid needs to be a prerequisite to get you kicked off the force.
No, most police officers are either afraid or they're aggressive. There's no in between.
Okay, and my point is mediocre cooks ruin a restaurant. Mediocre policing ruins a community. Mediocre teachers ruin a school. Mediocre
McDonald's is doing all
right.
McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King are doing all right. Those are mediocre ass burgers, bro.
I don't even remember the last time I had McDonald's.
Well, you are a bodybuilder who wears
that ain't
little draws on stage.
Listen, so McDonald's makes me sick, is what I'm saying.
It is because
that's
of
not
what
even
you
cooking.
Do.
That's not even cooking, though. I'm talking. They're just heating up food. All I'm saying is, anytime you are mediocre or something, but you are heralded as being exceptional, it waters down the pool. It makes it harder for everybody else.
What if being mediocre is actually the standard, and that is
the problem?
Why is that the problem?
Because exceptionalism should always be the goal, and if you can't reach it, there's no shame in it. But
how you gonna be elite? How you gonna be elite? Bringing up my groceries, brother.
You won't be elite, and we need to understand that being elite, not being elite, is okay. Just don't call it exceptionalism.
I want you to be mediocre, ringing my groceries up. I want you to be mediocre, putting them in the bag. I want you to be mediocre, bringing. You understand what I'm trying to say here? Am I making sense, Dre?
Yeah, but why do we need to be? Why do we need to be exceptional at everything?
No,
why do we have to be exceptional?
But the one thing that, like, 14-year-old got her first job. Praise Jesus. She makes snowballs, like flavored snowballs.
Right, like you can't make those excellent.
No, but I told her to make
learning the skills, though.
Yeah. Like, yo, you need to put in the work. You need to show up on work early. You need to leave.
Right.
And like, there's still exceptionalism within doing whatever you're doing. Like,
those are habits.
Exceptional habits make exceptional people, though.
Yeah, y'all missing my point. Y'all
missing
my point on purpose.
That's actually what you.
I want a regular ass snow cone when I come to get a snow cone from your daughter. I don't want the best snow cone I've ever had.
If she's mediocre, then she doesn't.
Because I'm not going to get it.
It's sticky.
The best snow cone I've ever had, I've already had.
Until you had my daughters, I'm telling you.
No,
she'd
be
putting it.
Go.
You ain't never had no snowball till you didn't have one from Jazz. No, I'm saying, but
no, for real talk. Like, the best snow cone I've ever had, I had when it was the first snow cone I've ever had.
Do you really
every
believe
snow cone after that? I want it to be like snow cone, like protocol professional. You know what I'm saying? Like, just make it.
But Paul, do you really believe that Jazz is there to learn how to be the best snow cone maker ever?
That's what I'm asking you.
No, she's there to hone her skills, because you know what you have to do in the real world? Sometimes you're going to have to work for somebody who's a bum, and they're going to be the manager and you're going to be under them. Sometimes you're going to have to be in a situation.
Okay, so if she gives me a mediocre snow cone, am I supposed to be upset?
Maybe, but it's not even her fault. She didn't make the snow cone machine.
No, you're supposed to say thanks, Jazz.
No, what I'm saying is
people definitely don't do that now. People coming back cussing out little 14-year-old girls. Like, don't do that. That's what we back to entitled. Like, people are like, you saw it last year. It was somebody who fought the hostess at like Applebee's or something like that because of the check or something like it's. We got an identity problem going on, like, around everything that we do. And my whole point, and I get what you're saying, Paul, but like I said, but I don't. But
it's not okay. It's not.
But if you living up to your potential,
it's not bad to be a C grade at what you do. It's not wrong. It's like you should still go home and be able to look yourself in the mirror and be okay.
I'm
Yes.
just all the thing I'm saying is don't lie and don't, what they say, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Like piss on my leg and tell me it's
Okay,
raining.
that's fair.
Stop
That's fair.
lying and saying that somebody's exceptional when they're not. Like that's all I'm asking.
What I'm saying is, are we requiring exceptionability in places that we probably shouldn't?
No, and
No.
that's why this idea that the minimum wage should be $25 for people working at McDonald's is a farce. And that's why I jumped. Yes, I'm serious.
Well, I think
this is a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's a whole nother show. But the point that you're saying, Paul, where you're saying, are you supposed to be exceptional at bagging groceries? I don't need somebody exceptional at bagging groceries. I need somebody who's mediocre.
I just need it in the
Don't
bag.
smash my
And
bread
I just
and don't
don't
break
put my eggs on
eggs.
the bottom.
Yes,
That's it.
and don't smash my bread down there.
To me, that's not a C. Like that's knowing your job and being excelling in your job. Like because what it turned into is we just shitted on all the grocery baggers.
Shout out to grocery baggers.
No, absolutely.
You know what? Real talk. I live out west, so we got to bring our bags. So
absolutely, we don't have bag. Yeah, you got to bring your bag in Delaware now.
Yeah,
we in the South.
We bag our own shit. Bag our own stuff out here.
He actually in America. Okay.
We destroy when the ocean touches your things. When the ocean touches where you live.
We trying to say
you have to pay for bags.
Yeah, we don't care about the ozone or your turtles. We kill them
right. All I'm saying is, as long as you do not have to be an exceptional individual in the sense of it doesn't require. It's like changing oil in a car. You don't have to be exceptional mechanic to change oil in the car, but that doesn't require exceptionalism. All I'm saying is, do not call yourself an ASE certified mechanic just because you can change a tire. They're not the same thing, and don't do that to the mechanics that have done the work.
That's what the requirement for the certification is, then that's what it is.
That doesn't make you exceptional just because you can figure out I got a 14 size socket and I can unscrew it and I can drain the oil.
To you, bro, and what I'm trying to explain to you is exceptional is subjective at this point in our lives.
It is. And that part, but that's the point that I was saying as far as bagging groceries, based on our level, you bagging groceries, cool. Like that's, but based on if they're doing the best that they can,
that is exceptional. Yes.
That's exceptional to me. That's not mediocrity.
But that goes back to the relative thing. That is relative to the person. Here's the thing though. As long as you're not trying to compare the dude bagging groceries to Neil deGrasse Tyson, I'm cool with it.
Well,
this guy.
It can work different ways though, because AOC was just a waitress until she wasn't. So,
I mean that. You know what? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch that one either.
Go ahead.
I'm not even gonna go.
You trying to get it shut down. You try to get his canceled.
I just wanted to see it.
I ain't touching that.
America, I have managed to silence both Paul and Billy. I want you to know this is a monumental moment.
That's all I got
of the Gray Matters.
Go wrap that up.
That's it. All I got is she cute.
All right, for those of you who are listening by streaming platforms other than watching us on YouTube, that sound you heard was the sound for the APB. So I'm gonna handle the APB for today. Who I'm looking out for, and I guess this ultimately puts this episode into a pretty bow, is I'm looking for parents and kids alike to strive for exceptionalism. I'm looking for, whether you meet it or not, that is based on an individual, goal chart that you have to set for yourself. But the generation and there are amazing kids doing amazing things out there. Mm-hmm. And all I'm saying is you should strive to be one of them. Don't strive to be the one who got the lottery ticket or just, trying to make the quick money or happen to invest in Bitcoin and it finally took off or anything like that. Work a plan to be exceptional at whatever it is that you choose to do. If it's, owning a grocery store or working at a grocery store, being a cook or whatever it is. Like, there's too many tools and resources out in the world now for you just to accept whatever somebody's handing you. Like, try to be a person that is being exceptional, whatever it is. And that includes being a parent. Like, even no matter how many mistakes you've made as a parent up to this point, after you listen to this episode, try to do something better. Spend more time with your kids. Try to, get involved in their homework. Try to figure out, even if you can't do the homework yourself because of lack of education or you just lack of knowledge, shit, time has passed. I don't remember how to do, fractions. Like, spend the time with them to be able to help them understand that you are in the fight with them, not you're going to take over the fight for them. But that is what I'm looking for, is just, people to grind. Like, I think we that's been the ultimate theme of this show, is to grind it out. So that's what I'm looking for.
Can I jump on that real quick too?
Sure.
Go ahead.
And this is going to sound, maybe to people who don't know me, or if you're not familiar, this may sound a little bit awkward me saying this, but I'm going to just piggyback on what Andre just said. I was an exceptional individual who didn't know it. And a lot of that came from the fact that I listened to people who told me that I wasn't. And so I want to encourage people to take what Andre just said seriously, that, just because you were told or you were maybe given, the short end of the stick, you were shortchanged, do not allow that to stop you from being motivated to reach your highest level. Like, I'll give you an example. There are people tell me all the time, and I'll, I had a conversation with my dad, right? This is a few years back. And I was getting ready for a bodybuilding competition. And he said, "Aren't you kind of old to be bodybuilding?" And my response to him was, "Yeah, I am kind of old, but I'm not too old." And I knew what I was doing for me. I'm never going to be Mr. Olympia. I'm never going to even compete for that. My goal is to be able to qualify for nationals, be in Orlando by the time I'm 50. So I got about 2.5 years. That is my peak. That is what I've set out for myself to reach. And I say that out loud and I verbalize that because I honestly want people to hold me accountable to that. I want people to say, "Hey, how's it going? Are you going to make it? You don't look like you're that big," whatever. My point is, don't allow people to stop you from doing exactly what Andre just said. Be whatever your best is. We were talking about this with singing. You don't have to be Luther Vandross to be a good singer. You can be, somewhere else. You don't have to be on that level. You don't have to be Charlie
Be
Wilson.
better. You could be Charlie Wilson.
You don't have to be Brian. Here we go. See how we do? He just couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it, Andre. But you understand my point. There's literally levels to it, right? Go be the best you can. Don't just settle. And don't allow other people to force you into a place where you feel like you should settle or just give up.
Don't be Joe Burrow when you could be Lamar Jackson.
See how we do? Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week on The Gray Matters. We appreciate all the support that we get from you all. We appreciate the love that we get on all of our platforms. We want to encourage you all to make comments, ask us questions if you have any show topics or ideas that you want to hear us talk about, or if you'd like to add something to it, hit us up, send us a message, leave a comment in the comment section. But we especially want to just say thank you for all the support, for sharing with your friends and letting other people know about us as we're gaining traction. We appreciate every last one of you. Not a single one of you goes without notice. And so we want to say especially thank you to all of you and your support. We look forward to seeing you again next week with yet another topic that is guaranteed to be explosive. And if nothing else, it'll be thought-provoking and hopefully make us all better humans, which is what we should all be striving to be. So thank you once again. We look forward to
which means Billy will be wrong again.
As well, hey, somebody's got to do it. Dirty jobs. Somebody got to do it.
Peace.
Y'all stay up.
Be
Peace.
Blessed. Take care. See how we do? See how we do?
So a preacher, a stay-at-home dad, and a rapper walk into a bar.
I am my ancestors back from the grave, no longer a slave, beat to the gods, kneel, pray, surviving my day. A threat to society, cause Malcolm showed me the way. I'm young, black, intelligent.
Oh, now they afraid.
It's too late, I am the king, I am the spark to the brain. I am the light that fought the dark and now you're seeing the rain. I am the thing they spent their whole life killing. To find out, I am the rose that grew from under their building. This ain't for likes, this is a fight so you can open your mind. Peel the scab back, reveal the blood and see what we'll find.
I promise.
Like LeBron, I am just one of a kind. No longer will I accept the blind, leading the blind. Keep it a buck, say what I want, not giving a screaming afterward like Park until the day my heart stops. And when I do, remember when I take my last breath, just remind the tape and witness all the knowledge I left. The great. So I said, a preacher, a stay-at-home dad, and a rapper walk into a bar. The gray matters.